It's time to break the timeline down, guys, and put it in plain sight. Now, 2024 is about to be one of the most craziest years we will ever witness. Why? Because let let us explain, guys. Good morning. America's main stock market index just hit an all-time high. Germany's main stock index hit an all-time high, as well as France and India's, guys, right? So they're all going ballistic to the upside, right? Things are looking quite swell. You know it's getting serious when we see a literal bull heading towards Wall Street. This is the most insane stuff, guys, right? So it seems like we're about to explode to the upside, which is a beautiful thing, but what people don't see is what's coming next, and it's going to be terrifying. Okay, the one thing I do wish is for cryptocurrencies to make a new all-time high. Come on, I trust they will, please, because that will be the most perfect thing ever, right? And then lure the retail people in to buy the top, dump it. A recession, a black swan hits, arrives like never before. Here we go. Ready? From Wall Street Silver, recession confirmed, inverse Kramer. So from CNBC television, they posted a video, and the title is the recession is not coming, says Jim Cramer. It's game over. This just confirmed to us it literally is, guys, right? It may not be tomorrow or the next day, but maybe in a few months from now. So it's basically guaranteed, not financial advice, right? But we may have we may see the proof in the damn pudding, guys. So Justin, for the first time ever, Fed Chair Powell admits that it's a real possibility we are in a recession next year. Now, who stated it first, guys, right? I don't know about you, but we have been talking about a black swan possibly around Q1, Q2, April timeframe, March timeframe for a possible plummet in prices, right? Which will tie into a recession. Now, which black swan could it be, though, right? Probably some type of war narrative will come out in full force, right? I don't know, perhaps though. So this is why we have to be very careful, guys. All we need is a few months, right, for cryptocurrencies to explode to the upside, and we have the green light at this point, right? So we're going to be explaining here in just a minute why 2024 may be a repeat of 2020, but more extreme, right? And when they do print out money, guys, to probably save the markets from collapsing. If they don't, it's going to literally collapse. So if they do come and save the markets, it's going to be multitudes above from what they printed back in 2020. But we'll get to that point in just a second. First things first, listen.
There's little basis for thinking that the economy is in a recession now. I would say that. I think there's always a probability that there will be a recession in the next year, and it's a meaningful probability no matter what the economy is doing. So it's always a real possibility. The question is it? So it's a possibility here. I have always felt since the beginning that there was a possibility, because of the unusual situation, that the economy could cool off in a way that enabled inflation to come down without the kind of large job losses that have often been associated with high inflation and tightening cycles. So far, that's what we're seeing. That's what many forecasters on and off the committee are seeing. This result is not guaranteed. It is far too early to declare victory. And there are certainly risks. It's certainly possible that the economy will behave in an unexpected way. It has done that repeatedly through in the post-pandemic period.
It's that simple, right? It will behave in an unexpected way, guys. Literally.
Well, that's where we are. Is we see the things that I mentioned.
So what's really the game plan? Okay. Well, we're cracking codes like never before. It's already beginning, it seems, as because Etsy stock falls 7% after the company announces a large round of layoffs. Now remember, recessions correlates with what? Record unemployment rise, right? The unemployment data spikes to unimaginable numbers, guys, right? It's fascinating that Mr. Poole warned us. So we have to look at the unemployment rate right here, right? It's at 3.7% as we speak. But what's going to happen? Okay, so each time it exploded to the upside, guys, right? We seen a recession. This was back in 2020, right here, guys, right? That was a black swan, and then every asset's out there plummeted in price. Okay, so if we look at the indicator, guys, it's curving, don't we see? Right, this is on the 6 monthly candles. So here soon, next year, it's basically guaranteed possibly that we're going to see a recession, right? Nothing is ever guaranteed, guys, but it looks like we will see a recession here soon, right? And nobody, or a black swan, shall we say, but nobody is really preparing for it. So my game plan is, I hope, right? Hope is a dangerous thing, though. I hope what happens with Bitcoin is we pump, right? Recession strikes, we dump all the way back down, and then the Fed comes and saves the markets, and we pump back up, guys, right? That will be the most perfect setup. So I am hoping for new all-time highs for cryptocurrencies because the stock market just did it, right? Now, this is incredible. So we have the data, we have the proof in the pudding, as why we may want to be very wary, guys, right? March, April, around that time frame, May. It's because just about every time the Fed started cutting rates, dating back to the 1950s, guys, almost a literal century, the unemployment rate has spiked right here. So historically speaking, the first cut comes 3 months before the unemployment rate begins to spike, according to Reventure. So, okay, so here's the game plan. So we see the yellow vertical lines, guys, right? That was when the Fed started cutting rates, if I'm not mistaken. And look what happened to the unemployment. The unemployment right after, right? It just spiked to the upside, right here. Each damn time, guys, look at that. It's just proof, right? This is just guaranteed. Now, history doesn't need to always repeat, right? It could carve its own path, but usually it's a pattern that keeps repeating, guys, right? So what happens next? When they cut rates here soon, will the unemployment rate spike up, right? And a recession is there. The reason why the Fed cuts rates in the first place is because the economy has already gone down to S, guys, right? And the Fed tries to come in and save the day, but they can't, right? Because it's too late. So they print as much as money to come in so the markets don't collapse, right? The economy doesn't collapse. Now, historically speaking, the first rate cut comes 3 months before the unemployment rate begins to spike, okay? So we have a 3-month leeway, it seems as, because you can't make this stuff up. Markets now see a 21% chance that rate cuts begin as soon as next month, guys, right? So here is January 2024, guys, right? Okay, end of January, and the markets think that there's a 20% chance right now they're going to cut rates. So there's about like a few month leeway, guys, when they do cut rates. Now, supposedly they're going to cut rates March 20th, okay, 2024. Which means if there is a 3-month leave, so that gives us April, May, June, right? So April, May, around that time frame, we could see a black swan strike, which is fascinating, right? We have been talking about April for months now, which is really strange and odd if you ask me. I don't know. Now, on average, the unemployment rate rises to 7.5% in a Fed rate cut cycle. Meanwhile, the Fed just said they don't see unemployment rates rising higher than 4.1%. Now, history says a soft landing is unlikely. Exactly, right? Because if they go through the soft landing path, guys, inflation will re-accelerate. We're going to be talking about it here in just a second. And their plan is to bring inflation back down to 2%, right? So if a black swan strikes, they will reach their target. So it's a win-win scenario, but there's going to be a heck of amount of turmoil, guys. We must prepare for it. So that's why my game plan is to cash out of cryptocurrencies, right? To take my profits here soon in the next few months and just leave. Let the dust settle, buy back in. That's my game plan. Hopefully things play out as we foresee it to be. Not financial advice. The proof is right here as well, because September 18th, 2007, markets soar after Fed cuts key rate by 0.5 point. And then what happened with the markets? It soared, right? It went higher than people expected. But then guess what happened in 2008? Boom, a recession, right? A black swan appeared. The housing bubble plummeted, right? Collapsed, popped. Now, all the metrics shows us that it's coming, guys, right? In next 1 to 2 years maximum, there's going to be basically a black swan. This is very concerning. 9% of bonds are set to mature in the next 2 years. The highest level since the financial crisis. High interest rates will make refinancing more difficult, guys, right? Which means what? They need to bring down interest rates, and the only way possibly they'll do that, guys, is through a black swan events, right? Because if they do it now, inflation is just going to go back higher, and it's going to repeat history if that were to occur. In just a second, we'll talk about it. Another metric right here, guys. Credit card defaults are still rising faster than the peak of the financial crisis. This is happening at a time when credit card debt just hit new highs. This is setting the stage for a big economic shock, guys, right? New highs, guys. That's not good at all. Now, the volatility index as well, right? This is the VIX. It's at its lowest points, basically. Just hit its lowest level since January 2020. Guess what happened around that same time frame, right? Cough, cough. You got it. So hopefully it keeps going lower and lower, right? When everything's too quiet, guys, where the volatility is just quietness, shush, then out of nowhere, suddenly, abruptly, explosive upside. A black swan will occur. So the Fed right now, history will not judge this Fed meeting well. Why? Because here's the issue. The Fed is making the same error as the mid-1970s. In the 1970s, they also thought they had beat inflation in 1974 and 1975. They lowered rates, and then inflation soared or roared back to even higher levels in the late 1970s. Inflation came down in early 1980s because of two factors: massive new oil, and then 18% interest rates crushed the economy, literally, right? So they're planning something catastrophic to occur, guys. So if we follow the same trajectory as the past back in the 1970s, what's going to happen here is, oh my, guys, we just got confirmed. You are here with Powell and Co. bowing to their political masters and are readying rate cuts for 2024, which will set off another inflationary storm in 2025. Wow. So they're really planning to collapse the economy, right? Blame it on something. Interesting, guys. So okay, this makes sense, guys. This is so insane to me. Inflation goes down to 2%, which a black swan may occur, and then that ties in with inflation going down, right? But they print their way back up because the markets are collapsing. They need to come and save the day. And then inflation goes back up, guys, right? A repeat of history. And then when it's so bad, guys, the economy is like looking crazy, hectic, then they truly come in and save the markets or the economy, right? That's when the collapse actually occurs. Does it say 2025, 2026? Interesting, huh? Oh, and not to mention, just as time when the representatives is introducing anti-corruption plan that bans stock trading for Congress plus spouses, ban lobbyists, and a few other things, right? Isn't that interesting? And everyone's loving this, guys. Look at that, 19K likes. Interesting. They're going to ban themselves. Look at that. Politicians shouldn't be allowed to trade stocks. They're going to ban themselves before the collapse takes place. That's insane to me. If this actually occurs, I'm out, guys. We are now at the same time. We should be paying attention to these. We should be paying attention to if these bills actually gain steam. Come on, guys, right? For quote unquote ethical reasons and whatnot. We all know it's all corrupt at the end of the day. There are so many warning signs that will take place before either a recession or the collapse. Not financial advice. Let's be prepared because things are about to get very insane, right? Crazy. Not financial advice, and never financial advice. But anyways, that's what it is. See ya.